President Donald Trump wants to pull out of the Paris Climate Accord. So this is something that everybody is talking about right now. Good. I'm all for it. It's one of those issues where he's had a rough couple of weeks. I have no problem praising Donald Trump for wanting to pull out of it. Now, by the way, I was in Cancun when there was a climate summit. Back then, it was the Kyoto Protocol. For people who don't know what this accord exactly is, it used to be the Kyoto Protocol. It was that for many, many, many years. In Cancun, I remember seeing Ted Turner go up and advocate for China's one-child policy.
Classic.
And people wanting to put tariffs and taxes on energy. So the Paris Climate Accord, was adopted by consensus in December 2015, signed April 2016, and went into effect in November 2016. So it's been about a year. And
pretty new.
Yeah, it's pretty new. And President Donald Trump has said, you know what, no, I don't think it's fair to the United States, and I want to pull out. Now, people will say you're a climate change denier. That's not necessarily the case. A lot of people will present this argument, and I understand it. They say, listen, if climate change, though, if it is real, and if it is catastrophic and imminent, don't we have to do something? Why wouldn't you do something? Okay, well, let me give you a few arguments as to why we wouldn't do this thing. This proposal would create an average shortfall of nearly 400,000 jobs in the United States. That's over 200,000 manufacturing jobs. An income loss of more than $20,000 annually over the course of this proposal for a family of 4. GDP loss of the United States for up to $2.5 trillion. An increase in household energy expenditures by 13 to 20%. So this also disproportionately asks Americans to curb and pay for the world's carbon emissions. Specifically, it asks for Americans. America, India, and China are the ones that they claim are the biggest, carbon emitters. But then if you look at the list of people who've pledged the most amount, the United States, right at the top. China, nowhere on that list.
None.
Yeah, I'll get right on that. You expect these other third world countries who have no EPAs, they couldn't care less about environmental regulations, to play on an even playing field alongside the United States. So what ends up happening? It ends up hurting the United States economy, and as with everything else, we're the world's greatest peacekeeping force, we're the world's greatest humanitarian force, they want us to foot the bill for everybody else's carbon emissions. And here's what's so telling. There is almost a direct correlation between carbon emissions and advancement in technology and innovation. And thank God for the United States and their advancement in innovation. And this bill would disproportionately harm the American populace. The term globalist has been thrown around so flippantly it's lost all meaning. This is a globalist bill with other foreign governments having the right to mandate, to create sanctions, and tell Americans what they can and can't do with their economy, with their energy. This bill is basically asking the United States economy to just bend over and take it.
Oui, oui, ha ha. Righto! Me so horny!
We're going to have Gary Wilson on after this to discuss the negative ramifications of pornography. That's the kind of show you signed up for. What we're talking, I was watching CNN this morning, and they were talking about green energy jobs. And it was telling me, because someone was talking about, how we need to access all of our energy resources right now, whatever that is, with fracking, coal. And someone on there, I don't know who it was a DNC strategist, something like, I think Elizabeth Granholm was on there as well. And they said, well, you know what, this is a lie from President Trump. He's promising to bring back jobs he couldn't possibly. Coal, there aren't enough coal jobs. Most jobs have gone to green energy, to solar, to wind. Well, no crap, stupid. We had a president who put moratoriums, who said he had no problem with putting the coal industry out of business while simultaneously subsidizing green energy, renewable energy that doesn't work.
Solyndra.
And by the way, is opposed by Democrats because Ted Kennedy didn't want to have windmills outside of his country home. So yeah, it's remarkable how many jobs will be lost in a sector that you cripple through government intervention while simultaneously using our tax dollars to pay for other sources of energy, regardless of market. Well, in Germany, the government decided to force the economy into green, renewable forms of energy. Solar, wind, what happened? Well, guess what? If there's not enough solar power, if there's not enough wind power, they don't have giant generators. So they can harness this power and keep it for a long time, for an entire country, for entire cities. So what they would have is they would have droughts when they didn't have enough wind or solar. And then when they would have a surplus of wind or solar, they would have to sell their energy at negative price points where they were actually losing money. It is incredibly unreliable. Oh, and by the way, their carbon emissions are still up.
Surprise!
We know the negative effects that this specific bill would have on the United States. That's why America first, by the way, doesn't mean America by its lonesome. Someone in the Trump campaign actually said that recently. I thought that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Sure.
But we're not a global community. That's just not accurate. We still are a world with borders and countries, and you do need to look out for your own country's best. You don't think China is? There's a reason they haven't pledged anything. It's not because you caught them at the wrong time right after the Jerry Lewis telethon, okay? You shake them down, you're gonna find some yen coming out of their pockets.
They're that crappy friend who owes you money and just never gets around to it. It's like, oh yeah, I'll get you back next time.
I get paid Friday.
Next time.
See you Saturday, right? You're breaking my balls. So let's get into the negative consequences, not for the United States. Well, in the first world, it's inconvenient. In the third world, it can be deadly. 15% of the world's population, that's 1.2 billion people, still have no access to electricity at all. And they have no capability of getting it through green energy. Sorry, rich, white, privileged, gender studies feminist who wants to change quantum physics because it's oppressive. These people, these over 1 billion people in the world, just need energy to not die, and they can't do it with your Don Quixote windmills.
Send them a Tesla.
Yeah, send them a Tesla. It's subsidized as well.
That's living.
I was in Cancun. Like I said, we went to the actual villages in Cancun to see how people lived. We got out of the resorts. What was it? There was Copenhagen, Cancun, I don't know if it was Paris. They just had a recent summit at NYU. They always go to the cool cities, right? So It's not like they're going to the worst area of Tijuana to meet about climate change. Like we need to see how these places have been ravaged. No, we're going to a Cancun resort.
Support the people.
Yeah. So we went to a village and we saw, like, there was a person there who would work all week just to have enough energy, just to have enough fuel to light a fire so that they could heat a can of beans on a dirt floor in their house over an ironing board over a trash can. You think they can afford doubling your energy prices? It's something that a lot of people forget about. Something else, production of biofuels. Rich white guilt. Seems really good. It's actually led to at least 192,000 additional deaths the last time we ran these numbers in 2010. Because the crop is not being used to produce food, but energy, because of government mandates. By the way, energy that often is not super efficient. So if you look at the worst estimates from the World Health Organization, they estimate that 141,000 people die annually because of man-made climate change. And that's a very generous estimate. So even if you just add the numbers, more people are dying in the third world because you are preventing them from having their own industrial revolution. Think about that. If there was some other foreign government who told the United States, no, you cannot have the industrial revolution. If they said, hey, sorry, Mr. Ford, no automobile. Sorry, no internet. Sorry, no factory. Sorry, we're not going to allow you to make things more efficient. There would be no United States of America. We wouldn't be able to broadcast this right now with equipment, by the way, that only 3 years ago would have been reserved for the singularly most professional, expensive studios in the world.
It was a mistake letting us
It was a mistake letting us get our paws on it. It's funny they say you're a climate denier. Listen, no one here denies the idea of climate change, okay? I don't know anyone here who even denies that humans have an effect on the overall climate on planet Earth. The question comes down to, is climate change a catastrophic event which is imminent? And is there anything that we can do to stop it if that were the case? If so, what are the direct effects of the Paris Climate Accord? How would that stop this Earth from warming 1 degree over the next 100 years? Although actually, remember, NASA said in the next 50 years it's going to drop half a degree, then go up a degree. What would this do? Because we're going to give up hundreds of thousands of jobs and we'll potentially kill millions of people in the long term in third world countries, preventing them to thrive through innovation and energy. Because, paying an extra, 2-3-fold for your gas, for your groceries, for anything that requires energy or transportation here in the first world, yeah, it's cost prohibitive, it's annoying, it's inconvenient, it will plunge people into the depths of extreme poverty, kind of like you see with Venezuela, but it's not deadly. In the third world, it kills people. Hey, this video is taken as a clip from the full show, daily show at louderwithcrowder.com/mugclub, where it's available exclusively $69 a year. That's less than $6 a month, less than 2 expensive cups of coffee, or you can feed an African child. But what would you want to do? Just buy coffee or join the Mug Club. Daily show, louderwithcrowder.com/mugclub. See you there. Don't feed children.